Plastic. It's everywhere. It's in our forests, oceans, on the street. Ever since plastic was invented, humans have become reliant on the material for its convenience, the low manufacturing price point, and its extensive list of uses. But we did not know to what degree this material would take over the world. Plastic pollution became a problem in the 1970s, putting the Earth in serious jeopardy. The worst part is that only 9% of plastic gets recycled in California, meaning that all of the plastics end up in landfills or the environment. The whole world produces about 400 million tons of plastic each year, 50% of which is single-use plastics, meant to be used once and then thrown away. This alarming statistic is what drove change like the European Union banning single-use plastics in 2021. Companies worldwide have invested millions of dollars in alternatives, such as paper straws, bamboo utensils, and paper plates. As we watch the world work towards a greener future, Cal Poly SLO has decided to take a different path. Cal Poly SLO strives for sustainability and focuses on environmental practices. But are we really doing everything we can to keep waste out of the environment? No, and here's why. All dining complexes have single-use plastic utensils and single-use food containers for people to use. Students and faculty all have the convenience of going to the dining hall to grab some food without having the need to wash their dishes. Instead, it gets thrown in the trash. Here are some Cal Poly students sharing their thoughts.
Do you think sustainability and plastic waste is a big problem on campus?
Yes, I do. I feel like it's two things. I feel like it's a lot of the way we get our food. We have to use like non-sustainable products to eat it. And then also people aren't always fully aware of like what goes where, so they don't always recycle what they need to recycle. Sometimes they don't always throw away in the trash, but they need to throw it in the trash, and then that, screws up the recycling part of it. So I think that is a bit of a problem on campus.
If given the option, do you choose single-use or reusable containers?
I would choose reusable containers.
Why would you choose reusable containers?
It's a more sustainable option. It doesn't cost me much of my time or effort, and it just feels better.
Why do you think the dining halls are using plastic utensils?
For ease, I think it's easier than anything else. They're cheaper, they're easier to get, easier to throw away, easier to give out.
Do you think sustainability is a priority on campus?
No. I think a lot of our dining hall practices are essentially the easiest thing to do and the mostly cost-effective thing to do. And I think that implementing a lot more reusable container drop-offs, maybe in the dorms or otherwise, could increase the desire for students to actually want to contribute to the movement of doing that.
This earth-threatening habit was implemented during the COVID-19 pandemic and has been the same ever since. Here's Kaylin Gibbons, a sustainability coordinator from Campus Dining, to explain.
His little history of campus dining, we've historically had two main dining facilities, one being Vista Grande, one being what's now called 1901 Marketplace. They've both recently been remodeled and reopened. Students really, wanted more national brands on campus, and then also that they preferred a declining balance style meal plan. So that means, dollar for dollar, not necessarily a meal swipe, all you care to eat style dining experience. So given that feedback, that's sort of how they designed Vista Grande to be more of this retail environment. So, that's why we don't have a lot of those big all you care to eat. And then with that, because it's primarily takeout, that's kind of why the single-use containers came into play, is just given the design of the building. It's primarily just that takeout option that was amplified during COVID when we couldn't even allow people to sit inside the building. So that's when we transitioned to Grubhub. And that really facilitated a lot of this sort of easy takeout food that students are now really, relying on, and they really like having that Grubhub option.
The average college student produces 640 pounds of waste annually, with Cal Poly students being no different. But it wasn't always like this. Back in 1960, Cal Poly students used to dine with glass cups and silverware. Nowadays, the majority of students use single-use containers and utensils, causing mounds of plastic waste, which is ruining our beautiful landscape. 40 billion plastic utensils are used each year in the US, that is an average of 119 plastic utensils per person. This may seem like a lot, but compared to Cal Poly, this average seems too good to be true. Based on a study conducted by the makers of this video, one student at Cal Poly uses an average of 2 plastic utensils per day, which is 730 plastic utensils per year. That is 6 times as much as the US average, 6 times the amount of waste. Reducing single-use waste is crucial for promoting sustainability and reducing the campus's carbon footprint. Cal Poly is often praised for being one of the most sustainable campuses in California, and in some ways, that reputation is well earned. According to STARS, a sustainability accreditation institution, the university has a strong composting program that helps to reduce food waste. But while composting isn't great, sustainability isn't just about what happens after we throw something away, it's about reducing waste in the first place. And when it comes to single-use plastics, there's still a long way to go. Every meal in the dining hall comes with plastic forks, paper boxes, and other disposable packaging that quickly piles up. Cal Poly has started making changes, like introducing reusable meal boxes that students can return. This program was implemented in February of 2024, allowing students to have the option of using a reusable container instead of a single-use one. Although some students use it regularly, it's not as widespread as it should be. With the only drop-off locations being in 1901 Marketplace and Vista Grande, students often have to walk back to their dining halls to drop off their containers, taking away the convenience of this option. Here is Caitlin Gibbons sharing plans for expansion of the program.
Yeah, so we are continually expanding that program. We're actually are bringing on some locations at Vista Grande this week. And so actually just this week, today, we're rolling it out at brunch, and then we'll be rolling it out later this week at Streets and Mingle and Nosh as well. So we're continually expanding the number of venues that we're offering that service at and that program at, which we're really excited about. And then in terms of the bins, so right now we have collection bins at 1901 Marketplace and at Vista Grande, just with the thought of hopefully that's a convenient drop-off place for folks living in the dorms. They can just, when they walk by, they can drop it off. 1901 Marketplace, you know, a large percentage of students who get their food there do eat at 1901 Marketplace and can drop it off when they're done. At this point, we don't have plans to expand the area where we put the drop-off bins. However, it's something we can consider in the future depending on what students are looking for. So the best way right now for us to ensure a smooth operation is to keep those bins kind of centrally located to where the food is served.
In order to reduce the overwhelming amount of single-use plastic waste in Cal Poly SLO's dining halls, we need to rethink convenience and accessibility. One effective strategy would be to place utensils behind the counter, making reusable ones the norm, as well as making reusable containers the default option for orders through Grubhub. These small conveniences would encourage students to use reusable options more often, while still allowing access to single-use items for those in a rush. To further support this shift, we can introduce more drop-off locations for reusable containers across campus. By making it more convenient for students to return their containers, we can foster a culture of reuse and ensure these sustainable practices become the norm, not the exception. So what can you do to keep our world thriving? As a Cal Poly student, you can be the change that this campus and the world needs to keep our streets clean and our grass green. The path to sustainability at Cal Poly isn't just a distant goal. It's an ongoing effort that requires everyone to step up. While Cal Poly has worked towards that goal, the responsibility to protect our environment rests on all of us. A simple action such as replacing plastic utensils with your metal ones or choosing the reusable container option on Grubhub can help work towards a brighter, greener future. We only have one Earth, so why not take care of it?